Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, the video will be entitled The Greatest News for Cryptocurrency Ever. Or is it? The greatest news for cryptocurrency ever, or is it? Ladies and gentlemen, there has been a debate. Congress wants to regulate the currencies of the United States. Not money, but currency. What is currency? It's a medium of exchange. Congress does not have the authority to regulate the currency of the United States, only the money. See, Congress can regulate commerce, but Congress cannot regulate medium of exchanges between private parties. That's why there's been a debate as to whether or not cryptocurrency is lawful money or not. Is it a medium of exchange? Well, the debate is over. Oh no! Yes, the debate is over. Yeah, they they pissed me off. Did they? Oh, certainly they pissed me off. So let me tell you what they were saying. Congress was saying, well, don't let me tell you. Let me show it to you. Let me show you something. I'm gonna go right here. Cryptocurrency is not a currency of the United States, nor is it recognized by the government as currency. New paragraph. Stop listening. While cryptocurrency is a digital asset used for transaction, they aren't considered legal tender. Nobody said anything about legal tender. The IRS treats cryptocurrency as property for tax purposes, not as currency. Ah, see, I told you the government says it's not currency. Well, how do we get you guys to understand how important it is that cryptocurrency be treated as a currency? Because the Federal Reserve has no control over cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin or the US dollar coin, USDC. How do we get you to understand that? Because that's going to be kind of difficult for you guys to understand. Wait. I got an idea. What you got? What's your idea? Can you tell us a story? Tell you a story? Me? I feel honored. Of course I can tell you a story. What type of story would you like to hear? I want to hear a story about gangsters because gangster movies always sells, and I like The Godfather. Oh no! We're not doing no Godfathers. A lot of gunshots in The Godfather. But tell you what, let's do a gangster story, and we're gonna add a twist to it, okay? Okay. I gotta get my popcorn. Do you gotta go get your popcorn? Yeah, go get your popcorn. Go pop you some popcorn. While you pop your popcorn, I'm gonna talk to the rest of the folks. Ladies and gentlemen, they got my attention. In 2022 through 2025, we were trading in cryptocurrency. We traded on a platform called Berry. Now, Berry was like every other cryptocurrency platform. They made their money off of placing the monies you put on the cryptocurrency, they put it in a bank. It had to actually be deposited into an actual bank, or else they couldn't get the so-called compound interest the way they wanted to get it at the rate they wanted to get it. So they put it in a bank, an account they controlled. We had no control over the account. And then a lot of people complained, started calling them a scam and that they were getting over on people. I tried to tell them, hey, you Americans, these are not Americans you're dealing with. They don't like people bad mouthing them in public. They don't allow people just to walk up to them and start cursing them out and calling them names. God, stop people, don't do that no more. And you know they did it anyway. I'm back. Oh, okay, you're back. Got your popcorn? Oh, I see. You added a lot of butter to that. Are you sure you got enough popcorn with that butter? Lord have mercy, more butter on that popcorn than ooh wee. Buttermilk biscuits, y'all. She's just sitting up there trying to. Well, never mind. Hold on. You just sit there and eat your. Well, you eat your cholesterol. Hold on now, y'all. Let's get with the story. We're gonna talk about that other stuff at another time. We're gonna go right here. See, it's a story. They talk about blistering. Now, it's not a long story. You see, it's not long. So I want y'all to pay attention to the story.
In the bustling, neon-lit streets of Jurisville, a new crew had moved in, the Blockchain Gang. They called themselves by names like Bit, Ether, and Tether, colorful characters who popped up on every corner, humming with promise of fast transactions and boundless returns. Their
Mm-mm-mm.
territory was the digital district, and their
Digital.
ranks swelled day by day.
Man,
But
they
they
grew.
weren't welcome everywhere.
Nope, nobody liked
Across
them.
town in the smoky back rooms of Marble Hall, the Investors Mafia, an
Investor
old guard
Mafia.
of bankers,
The
brokers, and
IMs.
bond slingers, grumbled over brandy and
Bond
ledger books.
slingers.
These crypto kids, snarled Don Dividend, they've no papers, no contracts. How can they claim citizenship among
Mm-hmm.
securities? We won't let them invade our turf.
Man, tell me
Night
about
after
it.
night, the mafia dispatched regulators to intimidate the blockchain gang.
Regulators!
You're not real securities, they'd
Mm-mm.
bark. Show us the contract that says you've invested like the rest of us.
What hood you from? You
But Bit
set
searched
tripping.
every corner of the chain. Ether turned every node upside down. No binding contract could be found. The gang began to doubt. Without a contract, could they ever be recognized?
Never.
Just then, a lanky stranger strolled into Digital Square. He
Hey!
wore a crisp suit and
My
carried a
name is
leather-bound
Howie.
tome stamped Howie. His name was Mr. Howie Testy, and
Mr.
rumor
Howie
had it he'd
Testy.
invented a set of rules no one could ignore.
You better believe it.
Howie, murmured Bit, we need your help. We've got the promise of value. We're transferable, but the mafia says we lack the papers. Testy smiled. Ah, but you do have papers, if
They
only in
certainly do.
principle. Allow me to introduce you to my four-part test. 1. Investment of value.
Man, Howie got his own
Did
test.
each of you pay something, fiat or crypto, to get started? Ether
Yes, I
nodded.
did.
We all contributed ETH to the network. 2. Common enterprise. Are your fates intertwined? Profits pooled and shared?
Yes, it
Tether
is.
clicked his tail. Every fee flows into our shared treasury. 3. Expectation of
We did
profits.
it at a group, and
Do
we
you all
wanted
expect
some profit.
returns? Dash leapt
You better
forward.
believe it.
Of course,
Your
every
dang
transfer
Skippy.
triggers a tiny fee distributed to holders.
Mm-hmm.
4. Efforts of others. Do you rely on a team or network to grow? Bit chimed in.
Man,
Our dev squad upgrades the code. Without them, we'd stall.
we need
Howie
that code
Testy's rules
upgraded.
are your contract, he declared. No single parchment necessary. Your very design embodies these 4 pillars.
Really?
This test is accepted by the highest arbiter.
The
At that
arbiter.
moment, the Supreme Court, a towering figure robed in black and gold, descended from the marble steps of the Grand Hall. We stand behind Howie's test, the court intoned. Any instrument meeting these 4 criteria is a legitimate security of Jurisville. The mafia
Oh,
inspectors wilted. Without the power to refute those 4 prongs, they slunk back to Marble Hall,
gotta
their
go home.
ledgers unreadable in the glow of blockchain truth.
Kick rocks, mother.
From that day on, the blockchain gang marched proudly through Jurisville's avenues,
What
recognized
side?
as full-fledged security citizens. And wherever they went, they carried with them the spirit of Howie's test. Proof that sometimes
Howie,
the strongest
Howie,
contract is written
Howie,
not on paper,
Howie,
but in
Howie,
principles that no one can deny.
Howie. Some of you won't get this, but those who deal in crypto and who understand crypto, especially the lawyers who are watching this video, they will get that. You see, the distinction as to whether or not cryptocurrency, pay attention, is a security or not, does not result from the Securities Act. It results from the Federal Reserve Act. Cryptocurrency has value because it's a medium of exchange. Even the banks deal in cryptocurrency. Don't believe me? Well, go and check. Watch this. Oh, sorry, not the right one. Wake up. Which bank deals in cryptocurrency? Stop listening. Uh-oh, it didn't do deals. Oh, I'm sorry. It didn't have bank. Okay. I'm sitting sideways on the computer, so I apologize. Come on, I hit enter. Come on now. Which banks deals in cryptocurrency? We're gonna leave it separated. Well, look at that. All of these banks Ally Bank is a member of the Federal Reserve. JP Morgan is a member of the Federal Reserve. You know what? Mercury is a member of the Federal Reserve. Hey, Bank of America is a member of the Federal Reserve. Wait, hold on there. 15 more? Where's Wells Fargo? Because I know Wells Fargo deals with cryptocurrency. USAA. Did you know USAA was a bank? Of course you didn't. But you do now. Morgan Stanley, which is Bank of America. But I don't see my Wells Fargo. Oh well, looks like we don't have Wells Fargo here. Chime doesn't really deal with cryptocurrency. But you know. Now, ladies and gentlemen, hold on now. Let me make sure y'all understand. The banks deal in cryptocurrency. They do it on a regular basis. And because the banks deal in cryptocurrency, then they can't argue that it's not accepted by the financial institutions. Now, that's the first thing. Now, they say, well, that doesn't matter. Yes, the Supreme Court says actually it does matter. You see, everybody said, well, they're not legal tender. Well, of course they're not legal tender. Nobody's trying to claim that they're legal tender. They're just a medium of exchange. They're just currency. Well, the law only recognizes legal tender and securities. You know, you're absolutely right. The Federal Reserve Act does identify what securities are. So, let's have the Howey test. Watch this. Wake up. The Howey test. Backspace. Stop listening. I said W-I-E. It's W-E-Y. So I apologize. Let me do it right. There we go. Four prongs. Isn't that what Howie said to the gang members? Yeah, it's the investment contract. Well, what's an investment contract in cryptocurrency? Well, them are the intelligent ones. Yeah, those are the smart ones. Those contracts are the smart ones. Smart contracts. Smart contracts. What's a smart contract? I thought you'd never ask. Wake up. Smart contract. Stop listening. Uh-oh. The phrase Howey test, four-prong equals smart contract, isn't accurate of an equation. The Howey test is a legal framework that, when applied to smart contracts or more broadly digital assets underlying them, to determine if they qualify as securities. Well, the smart contract is an investment contract. See, he wants to argue. He thinks he's smart, but he ain't smart. He wants to argue with me. The smart contract equals the Howey test. Now watch this. Let me tell y'all how we do this. This is how we do it. We're gonna start from the bottom and work our way to the top. Okay? Then we're gonna do this one. We're not gonna do no more. We need to give it enough research material to give us a definitive answer. So give me a second. Let me tell you something. Oh, get out of there. You ain't supposed to be there. All right, now we got to select everything. So we're going to start right here. We want the whole rigmarole. Okay? And we're going to copy. Now, what we're going to do right here, is let's go to POE. P-O-E. And we're going to go to this POE. We don't want to go to that POE because it'll take us and we won't be POE no more. So we're going to go to a different POE. Give me a second. Eve is out there barking. She has a habit of barking at the other dogs, but you know, I'm putting a stop to that because sometimes it's the same bark. Aw, just a notice? Oh, the alleged creditor. This is the document that we're finishing up. Okay, but I got to work on that tomorrow. I just don't have the time today. I ain't got time for that today. So we're going to start a whole new conversation. Oh, we just put that in there. I'm not going to ask it any questions. I don't want to mislead it. Hey, wait, failed to fetch. Oh, don't worry about no fetching. The Howey test is a legal framework established by the Supreme Court in the 1946 SEC case, W.J. Howey Company. It determined whether a transaction qualifies as an investment contract and is therefore a security subject to regulations under the federal securities laws. The test consists of 4 prongs, all of which must be satisfied. See, that's why we have the Howey test with the game. Application of smart contracts and digital assets. Smart contracts. typically used in blockchain-based systems, are often evaluated under the Howey test when associated with token sales or other digital asset offerings. For a transaction involving smart contracts to meet the four-prong Howey test, the digital assets or token may be classified as a security subject to the regulations of the SEC. Wake up. The Howey test is not just limited to the Securities Act of 1934 forward slash 35, period. The Securities Act of 1933, both the March 9, 1933 Act, specifically Title Roman numeral 4, comma, identifies eligible papers, identifies as securities. And the Securities Act of May 1933 does the same, comma, so the Howey test is met via smart contracts because a smart contract in cryptocurrency meets all four prongs as suggested by the Supreme Court of the United States of America. Stop listening. It's from the Howey case that securities have been regulated from that point on. Your observation brings up an important point about the connection between the Howey test and earlier securities legislation. See, here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. All this time, everyone else focused on the Securities Act of 1933 because they thought it was the only one that defined what a security was. That was a lie. The Securities Act of 1933, not 19, I said 1933 a second ago, 1934-35, but called the Securities and Exchange Act. There were two different passages, thus combining them, making them one act. Anywho, the Securities Act of 1933 also defined securities, and the Federal Reserve Act of 1933, the amendment, also defines securities. Stocks, bonds, notes as securities. See, she got it. And said the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. This law created Securities Exchange Commission to oversee and enforce securities laws. Its focus was on secondary trading in the public, not the private trades. You don't have to register private securities, and thus cryptocurrency doesn't have to be registered, but they're still classified as securities for tax purposes and can be filed as such, and people can save a lot of money. You switch to, you know what I'm saying? All right. Application to smart contracts. Smart contracts in cryptocurrency are often analyzed under the Howey test because it can function as a mechanism for offering and distributing of digital assets that resemble investment contracts. Here's how it might have meet the four prongs. Supreme Court guidance. The Supreme Court decision in the Howey case makes it clear, and remember, this has been all the way back to the 1940s, hasn't changed, that the definition for an investment contract is flexible. Now, we got to correct something. Wake up. I'm sorry, comma, why are you being so stupid? Being so stupid. Why are you question mark? Show me the proof that a smart contract meets all four prongs of the Howey test. And stop playing these little stupid nuance games with me. Stop listening. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes it gets stupid. Let's definitely address how smart contracts associated with cryptocurrencies satisfy all four prongs of the Howey test. I don't have to ask for permission. I already know it does. Ladies and gentlemen, I've never proved it. I already know it does. Why? Because cryptocurrency was trying to mimic the regular financial market. They got greedy. Don't you guys remember? Cryptocurrency was private. They weren't associated with the market or nothing. And then people started getting IPOs and started investing in it and so on and so forth. They tried to mimic the market, and when they did, the market accepted it as such, and because of all of that, they meet the test. Common enterprises. definition. There must be a pooling of funds together. That's what a blockchain is. Duh, ladies and gentlemen. And then here, expectation of profit, most certainly. That's what, hey, Bitcoin's at its highest, blah, 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 blah. Efforts of others. Hey, y'all got that blockchain going? Well, what's the holdup? I can't make my trade. You feel me? You got to rely on somebody else to maintain the blockchain. Smart contract-based cryptocurrency offerings frequently satisfies all four prongs of the Howey test. Ta-da! I tried to tell y'all. Like I said, nobody else has brought this out before. Go ahead and check. Where did they get a load of me? Hold on. Let me show y'all something. Just so y'all don't think that I'm just bringing this up off the side of my neck. Right here. Ladies and gentlemen. Right here. I got to check the case out. See, they blocked me. At least they thought they were blocking me. They blocked me. At least they thought they were blocking me. I can go at this anytime. My job was to get on the record. And that's what I had to do. And I represented a group. We're all together now. I'm not starting no trial. I don't feel like dealing with no trial. Why would I want to go to trial? I'm not under investigation. Y'all better leave me alone about no trial. Oh, that's sorry, that's Pacer. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking, let's try the court listener. Okay. And now, let's see, where are we? We don't want the 2018. 2019. I don't want that. I want the current one. Give me 1 second. This is not the right case. Department of Agriculture. That ain't the right case. I said SEC. Man, they just give me all them. Pardon the interruption. Anyway, I can't find the SEC case. It's right here. All right, let me pull up the case number. Nope, don't have the case number because I can't get in here. Let's. Oh. I see what it did. Whew. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so I don't know. Ah, that's the one. All right, this is the one. All right, so this is us going into this case and saying y'all not doing all that. And look at all this. They doing all this back and forth. All of this back and forth. We came in as an interested party. They tried to say y'all ain't coming in this case. And I'm like, but y'all don't understand. They're like, oh yeah, we understand. And so here I come. I just need to let the judge and the attorneys know, here I come. I've been patient. See? Stipulation of dismissal and release of Securities Exchange Act, blah, 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 of dismissal and releases by the Securities Exchange Act. See, they are dismissing certain charges against Binance. Notice of withdrawal of appearance as to Binance Limited. Minute order. In light of the 298 of the parties' joint status report and the motion to continue to stay, the motion is granted. It is ordered that the stay of the case remains in effect and the parties must file another joint status report as of June 16th. It is so ordered. Look at that. June 16th is come and gone. What's going on? So I'm just waiting, ladies and gentlemen. Where did they get a load of me? This stupid cow, the judge, is Washington, D.C. They don't like me in Washington. They've gone out of their way to cause me problems. Well, now that this information is being made public now, it's in the suit, but now that this information is being made public in the way that it's being made public, and now that there are securities, and now that people know that, like with Barry, those who all invested in, if you've invested in any securities such as cryptocurrencies in the past, and somebody got over on you and you thought you lost your money, you don't understand. Your money is still on the blockchain. You're still getting compound interest. Don't give up. Learn how to do your taxes. so that you can count that compound interest to your benefit. So stay tuned. Can't tell you it's going to be tomorrow, but there'll be more videos telling you how to. So have a good day, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Blockchains and Bitcoin. And guess what? The greatest video ever, or is it? Have a good day regarding cryptocurrency, that is.